Welcome to the Makeaway Podcast, where we believe there is God-given greatness in each and every one of us. We're on a mission to help you identify, harness, and amplify that greatness in you, starting by living out ours.
The main thing that we want to talk about, because you said you were going to go back to this place called Kansas City and record the show. So we want an update.
Guys, it happened. I made it. I went through the whole process. I was a participant on a reality show, officially checking that off the box of
I know a celebrity.
life goals. Well, I do too now. There was like 3 for any Survivor fans. Wendell, I forgot his last name. Wendell, who is the winner of season 36, was one of our judges, which is pretty cool. And then Wes Bergman from MTV's The Challenge. He was the host and the guy who put on the whole thing, and the owner of Beta Blocks, the company that's based around the show. The show's called The Blocks, so it's not streaming on networks yet. So you guys will be able to watch it on, I think they do like Vimeo, Facebook, and then they've got an app that you can subscribe to watch the whole season as well. And his best friend from the show, his name's Nehemiah. He was, there's I was surrounded by all these famous people I'd never heard of. I felt kind of bad, but it was fun. They're just normal people, turns out. So experience of a lifetime. Let me tell you, it's hard to be like, here's a quick synopsis of how the week was. It was just a wild life experience, and I'm so glad I went. And I know this question's burning in everyone's mind, like, everyone's like, oh, you weren't supposed to be at season 7. Season 8 was your season. And I was like, yeah, totally was, because I literally went in pitching a brand new business, which I know we've teased a little bit here. Maybe today I can talk a little more about it. But I'd never even introduced the business until I was in the middle of a competition on camera on the show. So that was fun, and the timing was perfect. So I'm very thankful for how it ended up going.
I love it. So, The first question, did you make it? The answer is yes. You didn't have any snowstorms or anything like that.
I did almost get stranded at the airport at midnight because I didn't realize our hotel was 45 minutes from the airport, and I didn't land until midnight. And so the guy who ended up driving me, he's like, I was the last Uber in the parking lot, and I almost didn't take your ride because I'd have to drive all the way back home and I wouldn't make any money. So I tipped him like $50. I felt so bad. And I'm like, thank you. I would have been stranded and not known what to do. But I made it.
But you made it.
I did indeed. So, yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit, about it?
Yeah, totally.
What can you share? Did you sign any NDA? Hey, you can't talk about it?
Technically, no, but I'm still not supposed to give away too many details because you guys got to watch. But so essentially, it was a group of 75 entrepreneurs from all over the country, which I know you're like, that's a lot of people. I thought the same thing. I was like, maybe there'll be 30 of us. There's 75 freaking people there. It's wild. People from all stages of business, people like me where it's like, I have this idea, I'm getting ready to launch, and then people who are making millions of dollars. I guarantee you, I met some future people who are going to be ringing the bell at Wall Street when they go public. Their businesses are so legit. So that was my favorite part. I just love being around, I don't know. I've lived in Spokane most of my life, and I have this little hole of comfort, and getting outside of that and meeting people who just have such different lives and different ideas. It was just really life-giving. That was one of my favorite parts of the week. But so we all got together. The first night was just kind of fun, got an introduction to how things were going to look, got to meet our judges. There were 8 very legit entrepreneurs there serving as our judges. And then we did dinner and just kind of hung out. And then the first night, I actually got to go to Wes's house. And I say house, it's like a 5,000 square foot mansion in Kansas City. But pause for a second. Did you know that Kansas City is one of the wealthiest areas in the U.S.? Outside of New York, California. He's like, we're in one of the wealthiest zip codes in the U.S., top 10. I had no idea.
I'm gonna write that down.
We were driving through this neighborhood, and I'm like, what in the actual hell? These houses looked like gigantic church buildings. They were crazy. Fun fact for everyone. I was like, oh, Kansas is going to be ghetto. It was not. It was quite nice. So went to his house, got to hang out. That was pretty fun. And then the next day was day one of competition. Now, mind you, I'm 2 hours ahead. I got in at like 3 a.m. our time, and then had to get up the next day at like 8 a.m. our time. It was, or 6 a.m. our time. It was rough adjusting. So a little bit of jet lag the first few days. So the way the days went is at 11 o'clock we started class. So the purpose of the show and why I would love for all of you to watch is not just to watch me, is because its intent is to educate. So educate both the audience and us, the participants. So we sit through 2 hours of class. There's a different topic every day. We break for lunch, and then we break into these 10-person pods. So there's 10 of us for each judge. And then we get up and we are assigned a completely random, we have no idea what it's going to be, challenge. So there's like a pitch style one. So it's like you have 3 minutes to answer X question or walk us through X scenario. And then you do a 15-minute one-on-one consult with these judges, which is very intimidating. Let me tell you. I'm like, I've never even like said my business name out loud until the first competition. It was wild. So yeah, that's how each day went. Is you get up, you learn, you get quizzed, and then at the end of the day there's a section that's called the blocks off, which was super fun. It's like a sudden death, like da da da. So the top performers from each pod then competed against each other and like a head to head, same scenario, except you come out in front of everyone rather than just your group of 10, lights on, cameras on, we're in the stadium, and you walk up there and they tell you what your assignment is and you do the best you can, and that's all you got. So it was very intimidating. I mean, it was fun for me because I tend to like to talk, which is why we have a podcast, right? But some of these people, I felt so bad for them. They're like, I am not a public speaker. I'm like, why are you here? But no, it was super fun, really, really competitive. I mean, imagine being in a group of 75 like grassroots entrepreneurs and you're competing to see who knows their business the best.
Right.
It was intense.
That's so
So
fun.
that is how my life was for 6 days straight, learning, competing, trying to sleep. And then so if you were the winner of a blocks off, you got to go to Wes's house for a special catered, not catered, but a breakfast with their private chef, which is pretty fancy. And so that was like, oh, you got to be up and ready to film at 7 a.m., which is 5 a.m. our time, which means you had to actually get up around 3:30 a.m. if you happen to get called to that. Now, I can't tell you if I was ever, but just putting some things into perspective. And then a few of the nights at nighttime, they invited us over to do like conversational stuff, for the show so you can get to know the people better. And I did get to go over to Wes's house twice for that, where it was kind of a special filming. So y'all have never been so tired, but simultaneously energized. It was really interesting, but super fun. So
Yay.
yeah.
And when do you think it will air?
So it's set to
Your
air
season.
in June. We don't have
Okay.
an official air date, but we will definitely let you guys know when it's ready to view, and we'll share the link. And definitely, again, I learned so much. I mean, I completely rewrote my business plan this week and made big pivots and big changes based on what I learned and just advice from people who are way farther than I am. So that was really great. But you can watch it in hopefully around June. We'll have to let you know in the future.
Yay. We'll have to have a watch party.
Yes, I've been thinking about it. So if you're in like the local area, or we can zoom in or something. I'm not sure. My mom's gonna organize something. So pretty
I
exciting
love
and
it.
also terrifying. I'm like, I know I got interviewed a bunch, and you just have no idea what they're actually gonna
Gonna
show
put.
or how it's
Well,
gonna. I
because
mean,
it
there's a
is.
couple times where I got real embarrassed. I'm like, please don't put
Right.
that. Please don't put that. I didn't mean it.
Well, and I think it'll be
So,
interesting too to see like the edits. Because obviously,
mhm.
reality TV, like there's edits. And so
Right.
my geekiness will be like, okay, tell me, like, was that out of
What actually
context?
happened?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know during a lot of my one-on-one interviews, I was trying to be, like the whole week I was just really manifesting and just projecting like just positivity and like I understand this stuff and I am going to win and it is going to be. And so that's what I had shared in the interviews and I'm like, please don't make me look like an arrogant asshole. I don't mean that. I'm just trying to be positive. So we'll see. I did make pretty close friends with the film crew. So
Nice.
we'll see.
I love
We'll
it.
see. Yeah. It was, yeah, it's just hard to explain. It was like I was back at summer camp and then syllabus week at college all in one, because it's like you are stuck in this building all day long. We're eating together, we're grinding out together, like we're crying together. There were definitely tears, lots of tears, which I did not expect. I was like, who the hell's gonna cry? But let me tell you, when you're under pressure talking about the struggles of your business and figuring things out, and then simultaneously you're surrounded by just an amazingly supportive group of people, there was a lot of room for a lot of emotion. So this was really beautiful. I think
Yeah.
that was my biggest surprise is I expected it to be like, cutthroat and dog eat dog and like people just celebrated each other and encouraged each other. Not one person said anything negative because I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys have all these numbers and I'm like, I start next Thursday. I'm like, I'm not legit. I don't know what I'm doing. But everyone was really encouraging. So
I love that. And
time
then,
of my
so
life.
I know because I follow you on social. If you're not following Taylor on social, you need to be following her. But you got to watch the Super Bowl
I
in Kansas
did.
City.
I got to watch the Chiefs win in Kansas City with some of the biggest Chiefs fans. So that was a
How was
blast.
that?
It was really fun. So it's funny because there was a small chunk of oh my gosh, who'd they play against? The
They
Eagles
played the
fans.
Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah, so Wendell Holland, I just remembered his last name. He's a big Eagles fan and he's good friends with Wes. And then Wes is like diehard Chiefs fan and so it was funny to sit there and watch because it was such a close game too to watch them go
That was
back
the
and
most
forth.
intense Super Bowl I've ever watched. We're
It
not
was
big
very
football
intense.
people, but we were like, oh my
Mm-hmm.
gosh, this is such a great game. Like, it was good.
You were think about this, Alyssa. You were in the same city as Rihanna for a minute. How
I
cool is
know.
that? Did you look up and see the fireworks?
No, I
Oh,
didn't.
I would have done that because I'm a nerd.
I
But
would have, so I don't think we would have seen them because, like, distance wise, there's some mountains in the way. Like,
oh yeah,
no, I just stayed
bummer.
in the comfort of some friend's house.
Smart.
But yeah, I was in the same city. I was in the same city of a lot of cool people for a while.
That's pretty cool. A lot of cool people. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. So I mean, that was basically it. I could talk a lot about the individual experiences. There were a few people that I got to become really close friends with who I feel like will be lifelong friends that will check in on each other. Shout out to Niagara Nick, my friend Nick Hurd. He owns a tour company at Niagara Falls. So if you're ever traveling to New York and need to go check out Niagara Falls, let me hook you up with the best tour guide there is. He's so awesome. Um, and my buddy Tim, he will probably never listen to this. I don't even think he has social media. I'm not sure, but he and his partner own a company called Legend Tell. It's like an automotive. Oh my gosh, Joseph would love this. It's an automotive. I don't know if I'm technically supposed to say. It's an auto tech company, and they're going to be billionaires because their idea is brilliant and it's pretty cool. My girl Jess, Makeup by Jess, she was awesome. Some of us were like in the same groups almost every day together, so we were like,
Nice.
hey, hey.
Yeah.
Cassie Sunshine, you're amazing. Oh my gosh, there's so many people. Des, hey girl, got to talk about social media. My buddy Ricky, just like the kindest, most joyful human I've ever met. So many people, but just really good relationships, really good encouragement, and just man, it's such a cool environment. And shouts out to Wes Bergman, who will never listen to this, but that's okay. One of the judges pointed out as we were wrapping up the finale, like you could do a lot with your fame and your money. And what he's choosing to do is invest back into entrepreneurs, not only us, but the viewers, and share this educational content. And I know there's a lot of voices out there, and there's a lot of people that we can learn from. There's a lot of people we shouldn't learn from. And Wes is one. He has been through it. He literally helps companies. He's a venture capitalist get started. They invest in them, help them grow and learn. And the stuff he's teaching is the stuff that you actually need, not the fluff, not the bullshit that you see on the internet every day. So
Right.
you can follow Wes. He doesn't post a lot personally, but his company is called Beta Blocks. Blox, not CKS. Beta, BETABLOX. And yeah, follow them along, check out their platform, and get educated, because I know a lot of you listening are entrepreneurs, and I can tell you from experience, it doesn't matter how small and insignificant you think you are, you will learn and you will grow from this content. So I was really, really pleased to be able to be a part of it.
I
And
love
who
it.
knows, maybe there'll be like a reunion season once they actually get on streaming services. So maybe, who knows where we'll go from here.
I
We'll
love
see.
it.
We'll see.
I
I'm really
my dying
excited.
question, and I know you can't share, so I'm not even going to ask. Everyone just needs to watch.
Yeah. Did I win? I don't know. I could have. I also could have just really crapped the bed and lost. But either way, it'll be entertaining, and you'll have to watch the show.
Can't
And
wait.
I also encourage you guys to go back and watch older seasons. It's really fun because you watch from season one, and so Wes was also on The Real World, and so it was very real world style. It was like 10 people in a house for a week, and it was just really cutthroat. And so it's fun to watch through the seasons, watch them grow and progress, and the show change. And it's, I mean, literally an example of what he's teaching is you just got to get to market, test it out, make improvements, excuse me, get back up, go again and again and again and again until it gets shinier and prettier. Got to be willing to put your ugly baby out into the market, aka
I
your
love
business.
that.
Let your baby be ugly. That was my biggest takeaway, is to let my baby be ugly, and to make smaller steps. So, most of us are big dreamers, and I'm like, I want to take over the world. Like, how about you just take over your neighborhood first? Master that and then grow. So, pretty excited.
Love it.
Yeah.
Any
Have
final
Go
nuggets
ahead.
for me? I was
Oh,
just going to
nuggets.
ask if you had any final nuggets besides that.
Um, no, I think I shared it all. It was, yeah, again, it's just hard to articulate, especially without giving away
Yeah,
the results, what actually happened.
right.
I'm just really thankful for the relationships. I'm really thankful for the education, for the experience. And I will share this. So, we talked a couple episodes about like going viral and how going viral is useless unless you leverage it. And so, like, this to me, this is my going viral, right? So, it's not an on network reality show, but it is a TV show, a film TV show that I was selected for with really well known people who I believe will someday have a platform. And so, even though it's not on Fox, it's on Vimeo, I am going to leverage this opportunity with everything I have. So keep an eye out, especially if you're following me. The season comes out around June. So probably in May, you're going to see me sharing a lot about the show. And I'm going to leverage new opportunities, speaking opportunities, podcast guests rather than just on our own, um,
Mm-hmm.
local media, PR. I'm going to leverage that to get to where I want to go next. So we can't just take these opportunities and be like, well, that was cool. That was fun. Like,
Right,
no, you got to use these opportunities. All the people that you see who are like, oh, they're in this new show and they're on the news. They didn't just get called up, and maybe some of them, but people put themselves in those situations. And that's one of the things that I've learned getting into this world a little bit more, is like people don't just get asked unless they're really, really big time. Oh, hey, will you come speak and we'll pay you six figures? No, they put themselves there. And so
right.
I'm really excited to now shift gears and learn on that end. Like, okay, what are best practices to do that? So um, that's just a reminder. Like, if you're I don't know if you relate to that in any way, whether it's just a piece of content online or whether it's an opportunity like being on a show, being at an event. Leverage it and go after it and ask for the opportunities, because contrary to what was my popular belief, maybe you're smarter than me, people don't just get asked for those things. It doesn't just happen. People go after it. So
Right.
there's my advice there.
Love it.
Yeah. And then on a future episode, I think probably not today, but during the show, I was pitching an entirely new business that you guys have not heard about yet. I literally
Love
said the name
it.
out loud for the first time in my second intro video, because in the first, like, you show up and they interview you, and I was like, here's my business. And then I walked away and I was talking to some people and I was like, that's not my business. I'm going to pick this one. And the reason I did that is because in my mind, I was like, well, this is brand new. I'm not going to talk about a brand new business. And I'm so freaking glad I did. Best decision ever. So stay tuned for future episodes and introducing what, not just me, Alyssa's got a new business she probably doesn't want to talk about.
Got a few
But I'll
stuff
share mine.
happening. I just need to
I will
organize
share
it a little
mine.
bit.
Yeah.
You should see my desk. I mean, Taylor probably knows what it looks like. I just need to organize my thoughts before I
Yep.
blurt it all out. We got a lot in the
That's
pipeline,
right.
which is good.
Yes.
It's exciting.
It's a very full season. Yeah. We are in a big transition phase at our house, which I'll share more about that when we share the business with you guys, walk you through what we're doing. You guys know this whole year has been, every podcast episode, it's like, oh, so much change, so much change. And I guess just a reminder, like, that's the culmination of the process of entrepreneurship, right? Like, you guys are watching the actual real life, day to day, week to week process of what it takes people to get from starting up a business in their garage to being a public company.
Right.
It happens in the shadows, it happens in the day to day, and the struggles and the changes and the bouncing around. Like, I was shocked to hear how many people are like, well, I started here and then I completely pivoted because I figured out the market didn't want that, and now my business is this. And
Yeah.
so be encouraged by
Well, and I
that.
think that's an important thing to talk about, just because no one talks about all the change and the pivoting.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're only in February, and I feel like that's almost the non-decided word of the year is pivot. That's not what word I picked, but we're doing it. And yeah, maybe next episode we'll share all of the things.
I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah,
that was my brief and very ambiguous explanation of my experience on a reality show. It was a lot of fun, and I can't wait for, in a few months, to share more with you guys.
maybe after it airs, we'll do another episode of like all the nitty gritty details.
We'll do a tell all.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Ooh.
We'll have a guest from the show. We'll have a
Love
guest,
it.
one of my friends on, who got some airtime, so you guys can be familiar with him. And we'll have them on. We'll do a tell all, make it a whole fun thing.
Yeah, let's do it.
And I've got a lot of guests that I want to have on, so you guys will get to meet some of my friends and some pretty incredible entrepreneurs, hopefully soon.
Love it.
That's all I got. Stay tuned. Season 8 of the Blocks. Will Taylor
tuned.
be the champion, or will she be the villain? Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun.
No one will know.
No one.
That's all I got. You got anything else?
I don't have anything else.
No. Awesome. Thanks for hanging with us, guys. Can't wait for you to watch. We'll see you next time.